So let's continue. We're live on YouTube and Twitch, and we're starting in Cusco with a little explanation segment. There's one thing, hello Matza.
Hello everyone, greetings.
We haven't looked at one thing yet, and that's the new system with triumphs. The triumphs are replacing the legacy paths. And here you can see a completely new screen for the age progression, Matze.
Yes, these are the new victory types that we have. So we're not at the triumph system yet. But we can also talk about the victories first, right, Daniel? They've changed quite a bit too.
As you wish.
And it's no longer tied to the triumph system like it was in the past. Back then, it was really only relevant in the Third Age that you completed all triumphs on one of the four paths, which we can also see in the background here, and accomplished everything. Then you unlocked your victory variant, had to complete one more project, and that was it, regardless of what happened in the earlier ages. Many of our players thought that was kind of lame because we said the earlier ages weren't really that relevant. That's why the developers changed that a lot. Now the cultural, economic and military victories work very similarly. You collect points actually. For a cultural victory you collect tourism. For an economic victory you have to improve your gross domestic product. You get points through certain actions. And for a military victory, it's dominion that you collect. There you get points for every settlement you have. In the end, starting from the middle of the Second Age, you're always compared to the player in second place. And you have to have a certain lead. I think at the beginning, let's say it's 6 times as much. Once you've achieved that, a countdown starts. The opponents have 5 turns, for example, the second place player, to increase their score. Or to take points away from me by simply declaring war. And if I manage to hold out for those 5 turns, I've achieved victory. This threshold that you have to cross keeps getting smaller as the game progresses. At some point it's only double, then 1.5 times. And then it's just a very small lead that you need to have. You can see exactly what counts in which category on the different tabs you see in the background. And it just fits thematically, right? So if you have buildings that connect resources, you get points for that. We can see that we've scored exactly 0 points. The AI is unfortunately still a bit early in the game for that. We can go through the other tabs if you like. In the culture tab, we can see that we're already in first place because we have a natural wonder discovered. And we can also see here on a timeline what you get. You get points by, for example, collecting relics in the Second Era, holding celebrations, or building your unique buildings or improvements.
We're in second place, Matze, yes.
We're in second place.
Mm-hmm. We didn't get any points at all. Someone else got the 10 points.
That's right.
That was a T, obviously. Maybe they discovered the natural wonder first. Could that be?
But we were also told that we were the first to discover the natural wonder. Maybe a small bug, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Salt Salah. The military victory option is about having settlements. The capital, the original capital that we started with in ancient times, gives a few more points. If you capture it, you get the points for yourself. And then, as the game progresses, if I settle on another continent, those towns and cities will get more points. And that's how it continues. Right now, Hatshepsut is currently number 1. And in science, it's also a victory by points. And there you collect innovation through certain research, wonders, and projects. And to win there, you first have to build a launch pad. Basically a rocket launch pad. That's the requirement. Once you've collected 100 points, you win immediately. If you haven't managed to achieve one of the victory conditions by round 140 in the Third Era at standard speed, there's a score victory. There are 3 tiebreakers for that. That means, yes, if someone had already started a victory with the countdown but hasn't finished it yet, that will be added up. If there's still no winner, then the rankings are determined among all active victory types. So everyone starts with 1,000 points, and you get deductions for every place you're not in first in all 4 categories. And you can see there that the first player, for example, had 960 points, and that's why obviously he's ranked very high. And if you still don't have a clear winner, which is also relevant for multiplayer badges, then it goes to the number of major triumphs achieved with the second major system to determine a winner.
Chat also contributed a bit to what we're seeing now. What that could mean is also what we're seeing again now. And it's not about having discovered the natural wonder. There would just be corresponding settlement points.
Yes, that's true. You also have to have brought some monetization into it. That's absolutely right.
At the moment, my head is spinning a bit too, but that will all settle down over time.
I hope you all overlooked the little spelling mistake and aren't too upset about it like you would be in business.
I have no idea what you mean. Normally, I would say a spelling mistake is just the dot on the I in the game, but if the whole I is missing, I don't know. There. We wanted to wait up here, wanted to think about where we should settle. And one of these two spots would be good. There's one, and there are some more up here. There shouldn't be any, but I'll check quickly. And we'll take another look. Alright, there we go. And we have 3 spots from Cusco. The first ring, the second, and the third, and only we can settle there. Mountains are not settleable. That means if we want the full distance of 3 rings, then we would settle right here in front. However, the game recommends this spot here. There's hardly any difference. Then we would have the third ring here, and we'd just overlap by 1 ring with the shared tiles. There are worse things. However, there's wine up here in the third ring. Thanks for gifting a subscription to an anonymous person to Tom Blau. Thank you. Then we have several more resources here that you can get up here. What is this? Limestone. 5 more production for all wonders. I think the spot up front is even cooler. Why is this one considered better? We have marble nearby. It's definitely included. That doesn't make sense. I don't get why the program would settle here instead of down here. I don't get it. I'd rather settle up here, Matze.
That's actually the spot that first, caught my eye as well. It's possible that the program rates the number of spots on land a bit higher than those by the water. Yeah, that'd probably be good for us as the Inca too.
People in chat are also pointing out the jade, but like I said, the 10 on the gold. And in most cities that doesn't help at all or hardly helps at all. If we settle here or here, that can, so if we want to say we want to include this peninsula as well. You might excuse me for moving so strangely. I have a hot water bottle on my back and I'm trying to find a good spot for it because ouch and heat. You could maybe also say up here and here. How many cities is that? If you include the peninsula, you could say you'd settle around here. Let's count the semicircles. First ring, second ring, third. Second ring, first ring, 0, then it's mostly water tiles. I wouldn't do that. I don't think I would settle here. I would take the spot up front here. After that, I would calmly see where else he settles up here. Yes. Okay, Matze.
Yes, I agree with what was said, and let's do it that way.
We're getting closer. We wanted to settle up front, and that's where we're going. You can't go directly, but we can cross the river. I'd found the city first. We could go above or through the water. I would go into the water, even if that brings us close to the enemy city, and then move down here, Matze.
Yes, then let's go. Everyone put on your life jackets, please.
Did life jackets already exist in ancient times? Corkboards. I wonder if in ancient times a higher or lower percentage of people could swim compared to today. What do you think? Chat question. How does the percentage compare? Can more people swim nowadays or back then? What do you think? And here we head west, along the coast or inland. You can only heal on land, so I would heal once. Matze says that nowadays more people can swim because of swimming lessons in schools. Zweifelstein, hi, writes that everyone who couldn't swim has now learned because of pressure. That's why basically everyone can swim nowadays. Ice Strikey also thinks more people can swim today. Do you have an opinion on this question, Matze?
I also believe that more people can swim today and that it's more like a training that you enjoy. I also remember some good role-playing games where the idea that people in the Middle Ages couldn't swim was emphasized a bit more, where it was mainly the nobility who might have been able to swim. So I just claim that today more people can swim. Although I also claim that unfortunately it's decreasing because swimming lessons are becoming less and less common these days, but probably still more than in ancient times.
Thanks to whoever gifted a sub to walk us through. Let's go this way. Let's go ashore. Yes, fewer and fewer children can swim. I would like to heal now. One more turn.
It will be time to prepare a face that matches the faces you encounter. It will be time to murder and to create.
So now we have the first Inca alignment, and thanks for gifting the subscription. This time Igor has received the gift. Thank you, Tirakuna Tirakuna. That's not a policy card, that's a passive bonus, right? Food buildings get more adjacency from mountains.
That's a tradition we get, and we also have a matching tradition slot for it. Tim?
You're right, we just got it. We're changing the policy. There's the tradition slot. The slots are always the same, right?
No, they're not the same. For the other two slots, we can only use priesthood or leader better toolmaking until toolmaking. But not Tirakuna exactly, and there we can put anything in.
Alright, then let's put this up front, then we'll be much quicker on the move. Next alignment, syncretism, then to get us an option, or as we said, discipline, right? We wanted, where does it go? Does the settlement limit go up by 1 again?
The next one is with the technology. The settlement limits here under maintenance in the upper branch, for example, that's still 2 away, or you can organize the military here all around.
That's still far away, so we actually get an alignment here for now. Oh, sorry, I totally got it wrong here, stonemason, stonemasonry. And after that we wanted to go into irrigation and get the settlement limit there.
Yeah.
We'll likely found the next city here, but we'll need many more troops. At the moment we're building the library, okay. Alignment, yeah, Matze, syncretism or discipline and the leader. So I don't see us fighting in the short term, I don't see that.
Then I either think syncretism is cool, or we still have the Inca founding path. Now we have that. That's for all civs you play outside of their original era, when they're at their peak, depending on the attributes assigned to the civ. Their own additional alignment that you can put in there. They can also be very powerful. And for us, among other things, we were expansionist, if I remember correctly, and economic. I hope that's correct and hasn't changed with the update. And that's why we would unlock a passive bonus here, allowing us to employ more specialists in the capital during this era. Pretty boring at the moment, I would say, in our situation. Warehouse buildings are cheaper to acquire, which can help, especially as we expand our settlements further, because there we can almost only buy warehouse buildings. And resource capacity. Resource capacity is still rather irrelevant for us, so I would maybe lean more towards syncretism, yeah. In my assessment, Daniel, because there we can also copy the unique units or buildings from the other civs.
This was the previous one, now it's in the selection. I find it more interesting. We're moving on to syncretism. I want to thank someone who gifted Velvet Ninja. Thank you. And thanks to Dan, no Dennis, to Dennis Dotman for the 3rd sub. Greetings, Dennis. So, and we wanted to go up with him. And we wanted to settle on the field up ahead. Then we'll move the unit. The settler will also go there. Now here comes our second city. The first one is called Cusco. Let's see what name it suggests now. Vilkavarvarman. Funny. That's a name I've never heard before. Vilkavarvarman. The slinger stays in place. A road was just automatically built that connects us here. And production, because it's a settlement, is converted into gold for the treasury. That means what's more interesting right now is food and, of course, happiness and resources. You and Matze should use the river up here more.
Yeah, I find miners really interesting because our warehouse buildings, of which we already have a few, will then produce even more food. And we could really use that in the capital, for example.
And were the crabs automatically assigned to Wilka Warwarman? Where do crabs come from? Yeah.
We just connected them.
Oh, right. Sorry, my mistake.
And it's assigned to the settlement it comes from. But we can change it if we want, because right now we actually have 0 warehouse buildings there and don't benefit from it at all.
Yeah, I just totally overlooked the crabs. I didn't notice them at all. Then let's put them somewhere else. Specifically to Cusco. That stays here on the left as discussed. In the chat, it's suggested to name the city Ship of the Desert from North Borman because there are camels by the water. And because the camels, the ships, they carry the loads, the ships of the desert ships. Desert ship sounds okay to me. What about you?
Yeah. Sure.
But there's a cunning newt being given away there, very friendly. 1 turn later, the street is straight. Desk. And now we're settling up here in the front. And we've unlocked David because we have 3 settlements on tropical terrain. Wanukum is suggested here. Here as well, a name suggestion. What do we have nearby? Incense, hardwood. Hardwood, wine, iron. A tropical river. Do you have a suggestion? Let's wait and see what comes.
Let me get inspired by the chat, exactly.
Now we have a bonus, an event, significant chiefdoms. And we can either get a bonus for the rest of this era, all buildings 10% faster, or only in the capital. I would make all buildings in all cities 10% faster. We still want to have a few more cities, okay?
So, do we really want to have cities, or are we going to stick with villages for a very long time? And where we will definitely build buildings is actually the capital.
Well, for a long time we only have one city, namely the capital. but I'm guessing that in the second half of this era we'll have 3 cities. And in those we have some catching up to do when it comes to building.
Yes, we can't build there unless we upgrade them from a village to a settlement. There we can only buy, and there's no bonus for buying.
So, apparently I expressed myself poorly. I'll say it again. So, for a long time we only have settlements everywhere at first. At the beginning, we only have 1 city, our capital, and I'm counting on us having maybe 3 cities in the second half of the first era, so turning 2 more settlements into cities. So we'll be glad to have this bonus, which also applies to the border cities, because we really have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to building, and with the buildings. That was my thought, thank you.
Then we'll keep the distributed power.
Alright. Then we'll also found a settlement up here. And we could get the tropical terrain tile down here. That way, we'll get another research point, which still matters a lot now. Okay? Yes. And it also leads to other resources. And we get 1 happiness point. The unit entrenches here. And on to the next turn. A chat suggested wine smoke from rainbows instead of incense. Wine because it's wine, and smoke because it's incense. Ingeman suggests tropical wood. That works too. Because of that, Jim Rayner suggests hard raft. I'll go with Hinkebine's tropical wood suggestion. You get it right away, you don't have to think about it for long. One turn later.
He was the first to build a wall 80 miles long, which was meant to separate the barbarians from the Romans.
Greetings to Hades, thanks for the 26 subscription greetings. Now we can build city walls that give us more hit points on the terrain tile. Build a monument so it gives not only culture but also influence. There are still many city-states where we have to ask ourselves whether we want to make peace with them or go to war with them. Next day. What would you think about using irrigation to raise the settlement limit?
I think I would first introduce writing at level 2 because we get a codex there that gives us 2 more science points. Right now we only have 13. That would also help us with researching irrigation, so we wouldn't be able to completely catch up in the new rounds. But of course the bonus is all the more powerful the earlier you get it, and right now we're not in urgent need yet. Of course, we'll get a bit of a happiness penalty if we go over the settlement limit. But it's also survivable, yeah.
The crucial question is whether and when we want to found the 4th settlement. Whether that happens within the first 12 or within the next 21 turns, for example. We're currently building the library and plan to add a few units next. I could imagine that we want to settle up here, that this will happen within 20 turns, but first we have to build some units. We're moving here, right? We want to build up here somewhere. And it'll take a while to get the settler up there. We have to build at least 1 unit, at least 1 settler. How long does it take to get from down here up to here? 5 turns in between the cities, 4, that's 9 turns. A settler will be there in 9 turns, which is pretty fast. That means you could take the unit from here, the warrior, and just quickly send a settler up. The settler would be built in 6 turns. Then you'd have 9 turns for moving, 6 turns for building, then you'd have 10 turns. And possibly exactly 15 more turns, and then we could definitely get writing first, because with the codex, irrigation will go a bit faster too. We could just about manage that. Yes, yes.
At least we won't be stuck with a satisfaction penalty for long.
Let's go up here first. We've already explored a lot here. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Northwards. We still don't know where the others are settling. I would go by water. I would go by water all the way up here.
Yeah, but hopefully we won't be attacked so soon there.
Or play it safe beforehand and check if there's another continent here, Matza.
Yeah, is that a peninsula or is it not a peninsula? That's the question, of course.
One more turn. So, and, a quick monument. And then the settlers, okay?
Agreed.
Where to? There, where the library is as well? Or one tile over and unlock more tiles?
At the library, you could also place a second scientific building or a production building that also benefits from the adjacent resource. I always think it's a good idea to combine cultural buildings either with themselves or with happiness buildings. We might also want to build an altar, and that could work quite well there.
Let's go here. So then we'll move on up here and wanted to go check if there's a camp down here. We couldn't go any further here for now, so we'll continue overland. That's up above. We'd better not go across the water. There's a ship there that would shoot at us. This all seems to be a long coastline here. One more turn. Ray comes in and says, "Good evening, how do you like Civ with the new update so far?" I'll pass the question on to the chat. Ray is asking you, how do you like Civ with the new update so far? We're building a new improvement here. Up here in Matza, 2 food so the settlement grows faster. 1 happiness, 1 science.
And we get the rice resource, which in turn gives all settlements 2 more food. That's an empire-wide resource. All 3 of our settlements benefit from it. That was really worth it.
That was a great idea. Into the water. Yeah, Matza, now it's getting exciting. Here are our neighbors. Here is our neighbor Ibn Battuta, and if our neighbor is here, there's a good chance a larger landmass continues on from here. And we can be glad that we built tropical wood here relatively early. Otherwise we would have been boxed in, and we're also under pressure to build up front quickly, I think. That's what we were planning to do anyway. Henny, thanks for the 20-second sub. Shout out to Henny. We didn't do anything wrong, but that looks nice. What is this? An atoll. Just a regular atoll, beautifully done. Now we're moving up there. Would you have liked to live in the Inca times, dear people? Can you imagine being part of the Inca civilization yourself? To live somewhere in one of those great stone cities of the Inca, getting your food through terrace farming, writing in the not script no, tying it, to walk instead of riding, and eventually to encounter conquistadors. An advantage. 25 science, we're approaching Mesa Verde. 7 turns left. We're here, and that's the first city-state. Matza says yes, for a week, and only if modern medicine is available. Ice Racher answers the previous question about whether the update makes a good impression. I quote, "Personally, yes, some good improvements, but of course you have to get used to a lot of new things again. Above all, the UI and everything around it look better. Let's see about the gameplay. Daishi would like to go there to get his hands on the Inca gold. So she'll probably be on the side of the Western conquistadors. An exciting resource here, being able to build more ships faster. Oh, more happiness and culture during celebrations in the capital. And wine also brought a lot. Should we get the wine?
Yes, I think it's a good area, a good terrain. That will also bring us more food. Whatever is important for the communities, bring it on.
Great. Bauman would also try to find Bulbul Dorado during the time and space journey. What have you heard about Bul Dorado so far? Yeah, we can't go that far here, right? We can only see where a city is. There are none at the borders. Yet another hostile city-state, Matze. What did we do to the world?
Yeah, this time it's even a military city-state, so they could hurt us if they attack.
Really intense. Enable unit, as I said, we're heading north. A ship, it can fire at us. We shouldn't go to the river either. It's a bad situation, and we can't escape past the mountains. I would run away, Matze. I would go back the way we came. And then, wow, we can't get through at all. What kind of ship is that? A galley. Galley. How does it fire? Can it fire at us on land, Matze?
I'm afraid so. That's why maybe we could hide by the mountains, wait until the galley has moved away, and then somehow by the river in the north.
Let's move over here and scout for a bit. That really helped us a lot. That takes the ship out of the equation. We run up. And back again. Wow, we've been on the road for a long time. Tropenholz now has 3 citizens. Cusco has 9 of them. And the desert ship has 3, founding a city up here. Next, we want to join in with the little town. On to writing, done in one turn, more codices, first codex, more science. On to irrigation, raise settlement limit, and then settle somewhere up here. That's the plan. We can soon court a city-state again, and then we have to consider, do we want to court the city-states? Or do we want to go to war with them? The ones we want to court we keep, the others we don't. I could imagine that we try to attack these here and occupy them early. We aim to reach this distant cultural area, the cultural city-state, to court it, so that they give us some kind of culture bonus. I could imagine that. It's definitely a lot of fun.